Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Once again, I'm Nev from Nev's Tactics, otherwise known as your friendly neighborhood basement dwelling, the Pirate Bay Bubbles. Don't worry, ma'am, I am from the internet. And today I want to talk about shape-shifting lizard people. Anecdotally, the same way that a few generations ago, someone who was a farmer perhaps would tell their children, don't get near a porcupine, they can shoot their quills. Can porcupines shoot their quills? Absolutely not. Porcupines cannot shoot their quills. Could you imagine a porcupine shooting their quill? That would be a terrifying thing. But if you got close enough to a porcupine that you startle it, those things can move so fast that you'll bet they can shoot their quills. Just don't even mess with that stuff. So I'm not talking about shape-shifting lizard people that came from the Andromeda galaxy. That's part of the Orion's Belt constellation, who they themselves are being controlled by extra-dimensional creatures that they themselves are working for an evil god. I'm not talking about that. But anecdotally, I absolutely am talking about a bunch of people who are only thinking with their lizard brains, who are only worried about themselves, who are only worried about money, and who are only worried about getting their friends' money. Maybe that last bit might be a bit of a stretch, but a long time ago I was working alongside a guy within a factory, and he's like, Nevin, I'm just working with my lizard brain today. I'm on autopilot, and he was done. He only got like 3 hours sleep, but in a factory position, you could do it without thinking about it. You just had that locked in your lizard mind. And there's a lot of people walking around that have no empathy, they have no humanity, and they just walk around thinking about food, sexy time, sleep, money. That's all that they care about. In other ways, they are not even human. They don't have empathy. They're not human. They're just like, we're going to take the human mind. We're just going to take this little thing called humanity and empathy. We don't need this. We need money. We need girls. We need drugs, or something like that. We're going to take this part away and the whole thing is going to work better. Who needs a world with empathy, humanity, homes for new families? That thing just doesn't even enter into it. And it's blowing me away. So right now in Canada, we definitely have a problem that the price of housing is unbelievably high. A lot of people want to say it's just in Vancouver and Toronto, but it is absolutely not. I am in a bedroom community, a potter's ground, and the people working at the local factories, which locally is a lot of money. You get a lot of money from working at a factory. Median income is $56,000 a year. And if you're in a factory, you might make that before tax. Median is after tax. But before tax, you definitely don't make that. $18 an hour to start. If you get married to somebody, if you have a partnership with somebody and you're there for about 3-4 years, you can get a house, you can get a mortgage for $400,000. There is not a house in driving distance that is affordable enough to have for these people in this bedroom community. So everybody is being priced out of the market. Everybody. So you think something needs to happen here. What's going on here? Well, the Fed's making the money printer go burr. Asset prices are definitely going up. And we definitely have foreign influence taking over, not foreign influence, foreign money coming into our country. And you can't really blame them in the place where Hong Kong is going back to China. In China, you can only have your house for 80 years and then the government takes it back. There is a housing boom going on in China that no one can explain what's going on. One thing in China seems to be is everyone's doing it, you should do it too. So in China, we get a situation where people are putting all of their money into housing as an investment, even though it's coming back to the government in 80 years, and the housing prices are unbelievably expensive, but the rental prices are still unbelievably low. So that's like, what's going on here? So China, of course, Hong Kong is going back to China. Hong Kong was lost during the Opium Wars, and now it's going back to China. So people in Hong Kong want to get their money out of there. But, wait, stand back for a sec. This is a problem worldwide. There are a lot of places in the world that are having these problems. And it seems like we're being run by people with lizard brains that don't even care about this stuff. Canada, 75 years ago in World War II, when people were coming back to Canada, the government was giving out land because they knew that their warriors would otherwise they weren't going to be able to have houses on their own because of the situation going on. And Canada worked hard to make sure that people had homes and not landowners. But now we're going back to a system where landowners are running all of this stuff. So we are in a situation where new families can't have a home unless somebody dies or unless they win the lottery or something. And there's something very un-Canadian about that, and I'm particularly a little bit upset about it. We have a lot of immigrants coming into the countries who aren't even going to have homes. Not even going to have homes. The Bank of Montreal, different banks, different outlets are saying we need to do something to cool off this situation. Right now, I've never seen a situation that is escalating so quickly as this situation is escalating in Canada. And this morning I wake up And I find out the Liberal Party, who's running all this stuff, says that everything's okay. The person within the liberals that is in charge of running this stuff wasn't even born in Canada. And normally I wouldn't even care about that kind of thing. But we're at a situation now where new families who work hard, median income, cannot get a house. So all of a sudden this becomes a thing. If the person within the leading class, which are supposed to be left-wing progressives, if they're saying that everything's okay when the media and the people know damn well that it's absolutely not okay, that new families with hard-working parents can no longer get houses, something is wrong. Something is wrong. And then I'm going to start nitpicking about this. So this individual came from Somalia, and they fled to Canada when there was a civil war. And that's exactly what I want to hear. That's exactly what I want to hear. That refugees are finding a safe place in Canada. That's perfect. That's Canada right there. But what's not Canada is saying that only the rich should get places and everybody else should have apartments. Now, I got in a lot of trouble. I got a lot of crap back in the day because I'd always be like this. I was always looking at a monitor. I was like, go outside, do something. And now we're at a situation where the government is saying, no, get an apartment. Well, how many apartments do you know that actually have a nice lawn where you can kick up your feet, have a beer, and chill out? Like, they do exist, but the majority of them aren't like that. There's a lot of people living in these high-rise buildings that are just cubes. That's just cement walls, not even painted, anything like that. We're running a situation where hardworking people can't afford a house. We're in the 70s in Hanover. You could, the September after you got out of grade 12, you could have a detached house, you could have a family, and you could be working in the furniture business. But that's not there anymore, mostly because of China. Now this is interesting. China manufactures everything for everybody. China manufactures everything because of their low wages. These low wages that come from the blood of underpaid people, slave labor. Uyghur slave labor. So hey, we got all of our stuff and we're really happy about it. Even people at my level, we're getting stuff for unbelievably cheap. And these products, if they were made in North America, would be through the roof. We can get a TV for about 93% less of a price than we could 30 years ago. And we get this from cheap or slave labor from China, which is exactly the people who are buying up our houses. No, not all of them. Not all of them. There is a housing boom in China. There's definitely money coming in, and there's definitely money laundering coming in too. There's all kinds of speculation going down. But what really gets me going and makes me think about maybe there are shape-shifting lizard people ruling us is the fact that the people ruling us, this individual from Somalia, sees no problem here and says, well, people should rent. We're going back to the model that we had before, and this is under leadership of shape-shifting lizard people. Liberal Party, I'm looking at you, libs. I'm looking at you, that we voted in, who said that they would make changes, that said there would be election reforms, that said there would be housing prices reforms. And now that we're in here, it's not changing. And it really makes me mad, because topically it seems like the reason they're not doing this is because of their rich friends. This isn't a thing about left or right. This is a thing about rich and poor. And just like in the United States, the middle class is evaporating really quickly. Stephen Harper, the leader of the Conservatives, said that the income disparity between the rich and the poor is getting worse and worse, and he's worried. I forget exactly what his words were, but he's worried about uprisings, ultimately. And I see in situations like this where people from other countries come in, get their citizenship, and then tell us how the place should be. No, scratch that. Act like I didn't even say that. But situations where progressives say that you can't have a house because the rich people need to keep being rich ultimately, and the status quo needs to keep being the way it is. But we have all kinds of problems with speculators, with people snow washing, money laundering, with realtors blind bidding, playing each other off. These are three very evil things that we need to change, and the reason we need to change them is because new families can't afford houses. What's more important, families that need houses or people with money? People with money is more important. People that are going to fund our party is more important. Shape-shifting lizard people. freaking evil. Freaking evil. I just can't get my mind around this. How is it that this is happening in Canada? Ladies and gentlemen, shape-shifting lizard people are real, but they don't come from Andromeda. They were born and raised here, and that really sucks. But anyways, folks, that's it for me. I want you to think about that. Shape-shifting lizard people from here, only interested in their own money, maybe even interested in their friends, but just interested in how big the pile of cash is that they get to sit on. And that's just how the world works. And that's how she goes. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me. If you think I missed something, leave it in the comments. But that's it for me. Have a good one. Take care of each other, and don't be a freaking lizard person. Have a good one, folks.